Honourable members, welcome to the first meeting of the Standing Orders Committee of the Second Parliament of Youth Impact Parliament of Youth Impact Movement. Let's take prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favour upon this Youth Impact Parliament. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the executive director of the movement. Endow members of parliament with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labours of this parliament, the wishes of members may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. Amen. Honourable members of the Standing Orders Committee, the Standing Orders Committee of the Second Parliament per our standing orders is composed of the Speaker as Chairman, the Clerk as Secretary, the two Deputy Speakers, the leaders of the House, and then three other members of Parliament. They are responsible for reviewing the standing orders and handling any matter with respect to the standing orders. At the third sitting of the House, the standing orders was referred to the Committee for review and report to the House at its fourth parliamentary sitting in the Second Parliament. So now, members, without wasting much time, we'll go straight into the standing orders. So it's just basic. If you want to speak, you just raise your hand and then I'll duly call you. The clauses are there. We already have the standing orders. The standing orders was drafted since 2021 and it has been adopted by the House on 13th August 2022 at the last sitting of the outgone Parliament. So the cover page is this. This is the cover page. It has YIP, Youth Impact Parliament on top, the logo in the middle, and then it also has, so the inscription at the top is Standing Orders of Youth Impact Parliament. Then it has the logo, and then 2022. The footer, it has the logo as well as the footer, and then Standing Orders of Youth Impact Parliament, and then the page number. The interpretations, we have terminologies that members of whoever might read might not understand are being explained over here. So that is it. Something like PSM, which means Parliamentary Service Member. Ranking member, it means a leader of a group on a committee of youth parliament. Usually the ranking members are leaders from the second caucus. So for every committee, especially the standing committees, wherever there is a chair from the majority, then the ranking member must come from the minority. If the chair is from minority, the ranking member must come from the majority. But at committees where the speaker is chairing, there are no ranking members because the speaker is a neutral figure. So these are the matters there. I believe there are no issues arising from that. Moving on to the preamble. Standing orders are subject to a constitution. So just as the standing orders of Parliament of Ghana, they are subject to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. In that same accord, this standing orders is subject to the Constitution of the movement. So it do not contain that phrase that you usually see in constitutions. It just goes straight to talk about the fact that these orders are the standing orders of Youth Impact Parliament, of Youth Impact Movement, and so shall it be called. except otherwise provided in these standing orders or in the Constitution of Youth Impact Movement. These orders shall not restrict the mode in which the Parliament shall exercise and uphold its powers, privileges, and functionality, and it can be amended accordingly. So the table of content basically inscribes all the orders and then the parts. So these standing orders has at least 17 parts and 147 orders, and that should be 6 appendixes. Yeah, so that is for the standing orders. So we'll go straight to part 1, the Youth Parliament. Order 1, identity of Youth Parliament. The legitimate name of this body shall be known and called Youth Impact Parliament, hereinafter referred to as YIP, and shall be recognized as such by all bodies. The motto of Youth Impact Parliament shall be impacting future leaders through parliamentary democracy. So the standing orders, it talks about the fact that it shall be the law and guide for the procedure and proceedings of this parliament. Any act or motions that contravenes these standing orders that contravenes these standing orders shall, to the extent of inconsistency, be null and void. But without prejudice to clause 1 and 2, the standing orders shall be subject to the under-mentioned documents and any subsequent amendments to these documents. So it should just be to, we are making the corrections at once, to these documents than repeating that entire script again. And the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. It is because this chapter is directly operational within the territory of the Republic of Ghana, the laws of Ghana, and the Constitution of the movement. Yes, and then some NYA staffs. Suspension of standing orders, order 3. Notwithstanding these orders, any order or part of any order or part of any order may be suspended with a motion to appeal for a suspension. The order or parts of the order proposed to be suspended and the reason for the proposed suspension shall be distinctly stated. Mr. Speaker shall call for a suspension upon a referral of the suspension motion to the Standing Orders Committee. So the committee can the House can just suspend, and then, so the Speaker shall call for a suspension after he refers the suspension motion. Let's get this clear. They are saying the Speaker shall call for a suspension upon a referral of the suspension motion to the Standing Orders Committee. The first suspension is talking about suspending proceedings. So I think we should make this clear. Shall call for a suspension of proceedings. I think it is clear now. Speaker shall call for a suspension of proceedings upon the referral of the suspension motion to the Standing Orders Committee. The committee shall use this suspension period to briefly discuss the appeal and present a report on the suspension motion to the House. For a 2/3 majority vote of members present and voting in favor of the suspension motion, subject to the approval of the executive director of the movement. Suspended orders will be reinstated automatically at the end of the session of a parliament. So if it is that they successfully suspend about half of the standing orders at the end of that session, all suspended standing orders are reinstated. Yes. 4. Amendment. These standing orders may be amended as provided for in this order. In this order, as provided for. Notice of any motion for amendment to these orders shall be accompanied by a draft of the proposed amendment. The motion has been proposed. When the motion has been proposed and seconded, shall be referred to the Standing Orders Committee, and no further proceedings shall be taken on it until the committee until the committee has reported on it. No further proceedings shall be taken on it. Okay. The standing orders shall stand amended upon two-thirds majority votes of members present and voting. On the report of the Standing Orders Committee, subject to the approval of the Executive Director of the movement. Yes. Interpretations. The standing order shall be interpreted by Mr. Speaker as he deems fit. Supplementary provisions. Supplemental provisions or procedure in cases not provided for in this order, Mr. Speaker shall make provisions as he deems fit. References to standing orders. The standing orders of Parliament. The standing orders of Parliament of Ghana, Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, National Youth Authority standing orders for youth Parliament are acknowledged as sources of reference in the drafting of the standing orders of YIP. Yes, I think that makes sense. Composition of youth Parliament. There shall be a youth Parliament which shall be composed of Speaker of the Youth Parliament, members of the Youth Parliament, and Youth Parliamentary Service members, which is PSM. Okay. Anyone not stated in the preceding clause shall be recognized as an observer or a guest upon the invitation of the table office. Founding fathers and directors of the Youth Impact Movement and the officers of Youth Impact Foundation shall be recognized as ex-officio members of the Youth Parliament. Okay. So, aims and objectives of Youth Parliament. The Youth Parliament shall, in its operations, achieve the following aims and objectives. The Youth Parliament shall build capacity for its members, uphold and promote standardized parliamentary practices, be a model legislative chamber, and advocate for the youth in Ghana as a whole. I think let's make it when necessary. Yes. The advocacy is not the main business. It's a capacity building forum. So the advocacy shall be done when necessary. Honorable members, should we even take this off? What do you say? Okay, well, let's just have it there. Order of precedence in Parliament. So the Speaker shall take precedence, and the descending order, the Deputy Speakers, and then as enlisted over here. The tenure of Parliament shall be 12 months, starting from the month of the first sitting of the first session. The tenure of the Speaker shall prevail for a parliamentary year. Members, all of them, their tenure will be for a parliamentary year. So it means that at the dissolution of the House is the end of the parliamentary year, and the House will surely be dissolved at the end of the 12th month. So at the dissolution of the house, basically, do you need to make provision for the dissolution of the house? Do we need to clearly state that, okay, we are saying a parliamentary year shall last for 12 months. And we are saying whoever is in parliament, their tenure shall prevail for a parliamentary year. So it means when a parliamentary year ends, it means the parliament ends. So should we make provision that until dissolution, some officers will still be in office? Because the house, a new house will have to be reconvened, yes, before for a new parliamentary year to start. Should we state it clear or it's not relevant? Okay, so I think the order is clear. Moving on, order 11, caucuses of youth parliament. There shall be 2 caucuses of sides of the House of Parliament, the minority caucus and the majority caucus. MP shall be allotted to just 1 caucus, and it shall be done randomly and conducted by the clerk under the supervision of the speaker. And the ratio is 55-45. And I think currently the second parliament is 50-43. Yes, the house is has 93 seats, so 93 youth MPs. And majority is 50, minority is 43. I think the ratio equally applies, so that's fine. Part 2, officers of youth parliament. So it goes clearly. The officers of the youth parliament are the speaker. These are the members who are non-MPs. Speaker, clerk, deputy clerk. Yes, very good. In re-ranking the deputy clerks, it's been unveiled that deputy clerk operations is the senior most deputy clerk, followed by finance and then publicity. Is it necessary that we give clear indication of the marshals, the deputy marshals? Because we only said 2 deputy marshals. Should we say 1 deputy marshal is in charge of this, 1 is in charge of that? Yes, so as of now, unlike the deputy clerks that we have given 1 operation, 1 finance, and then 1 publicity, the marshals do not have it as such. It's just 2 deputy marshals. Should we leave it like that, or we should clarify that 1 shall be in charge of this and 1 shall be in charge of that? Well, even so, even should we give the demarcations? Which demarcations are we going to give? I think we can make a good decision when we check the functions of the marshals. The marshal is the mace bearer of parliament, and he carries out the directions of the speaker for maintaining order in the house, and he is to ensure the safety and security of all members of the house, and he is assisted by 2 deputies. I don't think we'll earn anything by giving them demarcations. I think they are fine the way they are. If you ask me, they are fine the way they are. So let's just move on. So following the MPs who can hold positions, the deputy speakers, the leaders, deputy leaders, chief whips, first deputy whips, and second deputy whips. So officers of YIP shall be nominated by the executive director in consultation with the board of directors. of the movement subject to the provisions of these standing orders, which means they must be in consonance. So if they say subject, it's looking like an approval authority. It should just be which shall be in consonance with the provisions of these standing orders. So the question is, who approves their nomination? I think it's obviously Parliament. The nominations shall be subject to the approval of Parliament. So saying this, it doesn't mean it has to be approved by the new Parliament, because even at the transition between the first and second Parliament, it was the first Parliament that approved the nominations. Yes, because it's a going concern. That is a going concern. So it's the entire House that will approve, but the nominating authority is the Executive Director. Okay. Founding Fathers. So the Founding Fathers are the Mr. Amegashie-Viglo, Mr. David Amanor, and Raymond Elikemaglo. The Founding Fathers are also the Founding Fathers for the movement, and then they're also the Founding Fathers for the foundation. We have to manage space a little bit over here so that this can go. Yeah, so Founding Fathers shall not be liable for any breach of the standing orders of Parliament. It protects them from being ashamed or anything like that. So the Speaker of Parliament, I'm on to this. There shall be a Speaker of the Youth Parliament. He or she shall, I think this is supposed to be, preside over all sittings of Parliament as presiding officer. I think that addition should not be there. Be the head of the Youth Parliament, supervise all the officers of the Youth Parliament, be impartial and does not have voting rights. Make rulings on issues and deliberations on floor of Parliament. Ensure the realization and the implementation of the resolutions of the House. Be the chairperson of the Parliamentary Service Board and any other committee as provided. I don't even think we need to state this here, because when you go there, it states clearly who the chair is. So I'll take that out. Deliver ceremonial speeches on behalf of the House. Ensure the aims and objectives of the Parliament becomes a reality. Issue a statement. Issue statement on any matter. Okay, issue a statement on any matter he or she deems worthwhile for the House to discuss. So it means the Speaker can as well present a statement. I think that usually comes from the communication from the Speaker. Yes. We are assisted by two Deputy Speakers, namely the first and second Deputy Speakers, Christians. Should it be namely or precisely? Namely, okay. Perform any other duty as may be prescribed by the standing orders and the constitution of the movement. The constitution of the movement only captures the functionality of the Speaker, because the Speaker is part of the board of directors of the movement. But all the other officers, the constitution of the movement says the standing orders shall cover their functionality. So the constitution of the movement speaks very less about the functionality of Parliament and leaves that to the standing orders to provide for. The Deputy Speakers, there shall be two Deputy Speakers of the Youth Parliament. The first Deputy Speaker shall be from the majority caucus, and the second Deputy Speaker shall come. Is it? It shall. Is it shall be? Shall come from. This shall be there. Shall come from the majority caucus, and the second deputy speaker shall come from the minority caucus. I hope that is not a problem. What if minority caucus? Well, obviously, per convention, it is the biggest party in parliament that is the first deputy speaker. Yes, so I don't think there's anything wrong. Assist the speaker in the performance of his duties, act in the absence of the speaker, of which he says, in acting, the first deputy speaker shall do so, but in the absence of the speaker and first deputy speaker, the second deputy speaker shall do so, perform any other function. So, leaders or the assistant, there shall be leaders of each caucus in parliament, namely the majority leader and the minority leader. The majority and the minority leader shall be the leader of their respective caucus, represent and speak on behalf of the caucus, lead their caucus in debates and deliberations in the House during sittings and other fora, be assisted by a deputy each in the performance of their duties. Their respective deputies shall be the deputy majority leader and deputy minority leader. Okay. So the whips, it says there shall be whips of each caucus in parliament, namely the majority chief whip and the minority chief whip. The whips shall be obliged to keep members of their caucus in order, influence the interests of members towards deliberations and debate on floor. Okay, they will ask which floor though, but obviously floor of parliament. In consultation with their leader, direct members in voting patterns. Yes, be assisted by 2 deputies each in the performance of their duties. Their respective deputies shall be the first deputy majority whip, first deputy minority whip, second deputy majority whip, second deputy and second deputy minority whip. I think we should add respectively. Okay, we said they are respective deputies, so it means it already applies. Okay. So moving on, clerk. There shall be a clerk to parliament which shall serve as the administrator and secretary of the youth parliament, convene parliamentary sittings with the authority. It should be on the authority of the speaker or with the authority of the speaker? Yeah, on the authority of the speaker. Prepare the order papers in consultation with the speaker. Prepare, take and keep records and register of votes and proceedings and official reports. Prepare and keep a register of all members of parliament and officers and other officers who are non-members of parliament. And other officers, okay, yes, other officers of parliament who are non-members, which means who are non-MPs, who are non-MPs. I think non-MPs, okay, it's still in range, it's the same language. Be assisted by 3 deputies in the performance of his or her duties. They shall be the deputy clerk. Operations will come first. That is the ranking being now followed. Operations come first, finance second, and publicity last. So when we get to the deputy clerks, I'll state the indication of their ranking. So deputy clerks, there shall be 3 deputy clerks of the youth parliament, namely deputy clerk, operations. As we said, operations will come first. Operations will come first, then finance will come second, and then publicity. Now, the deputy clerks, so I think the preamble does not need to be numbered with a clause. Okay. Okay. So the deputy clerks shall assist the clerk in the performance of his or her duties, act in the absence of the clerk during proceedings in an order of precedence directed by the speaker. Should we leave that order to the speaker, or we should clearly state the order of precedence? Okay. But from the resolution, if it's coming from the speaker, deputy clerk operations comes first. So the speaker is supposed to follow. Okay, it should be left to the speaker because at times the substantive deputy clerks may not be around. So I think that is what the standing orders is making provision for. You see, in doing the robes, the robe for the clerks have some lines indicating their rank. The clerk has 4 lines. Deputy clerk operations has 3. Finance has 2, and publicity has 1. Is it relevant we indicate it in the standing orders? Okay, it's a conventional practice. Okay. So per the ranking per convention, operations comes first, which is with the 3 lines. Finance, which is 2 lines. So now let's review their duties. Operations take charge of organizing the sitting venue, not meeting venue. Meeting venue for sittings. Okay. And any other activity. Run errands directed by the speaker, clerk, or the house. Perform any other operational roles that may emerge. Is there something we need to add to operations? Okay. Then finance. Take charge of all financial transactions of the youth parliament. Keep records of transactions. Let's be clear. Financial transactions and collect dues or any money for the youth parliament. Perform any other financial roles that may emerge. Then publicity. Take charge of publicizing activities of the youth parliament. Read out papers as may be directed by the Speaker of Parliament. Yes, and then perform. This is a problem. Sometimes it is the clerk that reads. Yes, but when it is very long, it is when the publicity will read. I hope this provision will not bring a conflict. Okay, so it should be there. Okay. Okay. So Marshal, I think we covered the Marshal and it's clear. So basic offices, order 21. We have 50 pages to clear. If we are able to do half today, I think it wouldn't be even relevant to meet on Thursday. So at least it's already 6:35, and I think if we cover as much as 30 pages, we'll close and then leave the rest for the next day. So for now, let's proceed. Basic offices. The youth parliament shall have 5 basic offices, namely the office of the speaker, office of the clerk, office of the marshal, office of the majority leader, and office of the minority leader. The office of the speaker shall be made up of Mr. Speaker with the first and second deputy speaker. So that's the speaker's office. The clerk's office. Are we going by? Okay, we are bringing 2 lines of identification here. We are saying it should be called office of the speaker. And in explaining each of the office, we are bringing the name before the office. I think we should be consistent. What do you say? So I think we should just say the office of the speaker shall be made up of, than saying speaker's office. Yes. We have to be consistent. So office of the speaker, office of the clerk, office of the clerk shall be made up of the clerk and deputy clerks. And office of the majority leader, office of the Okay, correction has been effected. So the office of the speaker shall be made up of Mr. Speaker, with the first and second deputy speaker. Office of the clerk shall be made up of the clerk and deputy clerks. Should we state the 3 deputy clerks or just deputy clerks? Should we state the 3 deputy clerks or just deputy clerks? Okay. The deputy clerks. The office of the marshal shall be made up of the marshal and the deputy marshals. The office of the majority shall be made up of the majority leader, deputy majority leader, majority chief whip, and the deputy majority chief whips. So it's the same with the minority as well. The offices shall regulate the operations mostly outside proceedings and may carry out projects in their capacities. Okay, I think that's fine. So, part 3, Speaker and Deputy Speakers. There shall be a Speaker of Parliament nominated by the Board of Directors. I think we are giving 2 inscriptions. We stated that it shall be done by the Executive Director. So why are we now saying Board of Directors here? Nominated by the Executive Director of YIP. Or we should give the nomination power to the entire board. We should give it to the entire board. Okay, then we have to go and make that correction at the top. We stated executive director at some place. So I think we have to go and make that correction. We have to go and make that correction. Yeah, here is it. So shall be nominated by the board of directors. The board of directors of youth, by the board of directors of Youth Impact Movement, which shall be in consonance with the provisions. And then the nomination shall be subject to the approval of Parliament. Okay. So that has also been cleared. There shall be a Speaker of the Youth Parliament which shall be nominated by the Board of Directors of YIP through the majority leader and seconded by the minority leader. They are stating clearly the people who will carry out the nomination of the Speaker. Hey, wait. Per convention, a person nominated is when they are 2 that the House votes, but when there is only 1 nominee, usually it's not put to debate. So I think we just have to take that in clear there. Okay. So, qualifications of a speaker. Anyone who wishes to be elected as speaker must first satisfy the following criteria. The speaker nominee must be a former speaker, an MP or PSN of Parliament, or a member of YIM. We are saying so many things here. Speaker nominee must be, should it be must? Okay, so qualifications are must. So a speaker nominee must be a former speaker, MP or PSM of the Youth Parliament, or a member of the movement as of nomination. So it's trying to say old members should be the ones to be encouraged to become speaker. At least, at worst, should be part of the movement, but not be someone who is completely alien and now coming to learn things. Must have vast knowledge on parliamentary proceedings, must contribute in the former parliament. Is that necessary? How are we using to gauge the contribution? So maybe he spoke on floor. Okay, contribute now means anything that you can do for the success of the former parliament. In a former parliament, okay. I have contributed in a former parliament of YIP. So contribution here is talking about if it is sometimes coming around to support, your presence alone can equally be a contribution. You have done something, maybe you have bought something, or you have just coming around to help organize. They are all contributions. Yes, it's not monetary contribution here. So whatever you do for the success of an activity of a former parliament, so it's to say no one will just come from somewhere and then he doesn't know anything back. He's becoming a speaker. At least he must have done something. Just being around, coming around to observe is equally a contribution because he contributes to the numbers over there. So it's to ensure that we don't have no one coming in who does not know anything and bam, he wants to be a speaker. So this is clear. So the procedure for nominating a speaker is very clear here, and I think we already know it. I think I can just emphasize on clause 5 and 6, which is order 24. If one person is proposed, instead of proposed, let's make it nominated. He or she shall be declared elected and conducted to the chair without question being put. It means no voice vote. But where more than one person is nominated. So it's clear that it could be 2, it could be 5, it could be 1 person. But when it is 1 clause 5 applies. But when there are more than 1 person, then so let's leave the proposed here because a nomination is basically a proposal. It's not far from it. So when it's more than 1 person, a motion shall be made and seconded with respect to each of them, and the House shall proceed to elect a speaker by secret ballot in accordance with the provision of this order. So that is just making it very clear, the procedures. I don't think there's a problem here. Election of deputy speakers. At the commencement of every parliament, as or may be necessary, or as may be necessary. So in the case where a deputy speaker resigned during his tenure, the House shall elect 2 deputy speakers who shall be known as first and second deputy speakers. Deputy Speaker shall be elected from among members of youth parliament, and both of them shall not be members of the same caucus. I think it's very clear from even their articles. The rules prescribed for the election of the Speaker shall be observed for the election of Deputy Speakers, except that Mr. Speaker shall be in the chair when that happens. Oath to Speaker, yes, so the Speaker shall. We don't have oath of allegiance. It's just oath. It's just, I think when we check the oath, it's just oath of leadership. So if anything, we should just state that the Speaker shall subscribe to the oath of leadership. Oath of leadership, as set out in Appendix B. Is that Appendix B? Appendix A is prayers, and B is forms of yes. So that's it, Appendix B. To this standing orders, the oath shall be administered by the clerk or founder or anyone designated to do. So I do remember the second parliament, we invited a substantive member of Ghana's parliament to swear in the speaker. So that's it. Deputy Speaker shall also subscribe to the oath of leadership. Is it oath of leadership or oath for leaders? Oath of leadership. I think it is for leadership, not of leadership. Oath for leadership. It's for leadership. It's oath for leadership. Oath for leadership. Oath for leadership. Speaker-elect may, instead of taking the oath of office, make and subscribe a solemn affirmation. Oh, why is this me? I don't think we are helping ourselves by setting out this. So far as you are speaker-elect, you subscribe to the oath. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the story. Nothing more, nothing less. Absence of speaker. Either of the deputy speakers shall chair whenever requested to do so by Mr. Speaker during a sitting of the House without any formal communication. So that means when Mr. Speaker is there and then he wants any of the deputies to chair, whilst he wants to just take a mere absence, he can call any. That's why they said any. But whenever the House is being informed by the clerk at table of the unavoidable absence of Mr. Speaker, the first deputy speaker shall perform the duties, and then the speaker can come back and resume without communication. And where both the first deputy speaker and Mr. Speaker are second deputy speaker. Yes. And then the fourth one is whenever the House is informed by the clerk of the absence of Mr. Speaker and his two deputies, the executive director of the movement shall appoint a youth MP as acting speaker for that sitting through notice of the clerk before prayers, or the sitting shall stand postponed to a later date if no appointment is made prior to the commencement of business. Is that okay? Okay. So that's fine. In Kenya, they have something called the Speaker's Panel, where some MPs are being selected to chair whenever the Speaker or his deputies are around. Yeah. So I know for their Senate, they have 4 additional senators who can chair in the mere absence. They cannot exercise powers of the speaker outside proceedings. They can only exercise powers of the speaker during proceedings. Yes, that absolute right to exercise powers of the speaker in the absence of the speaker is only for the deputy speaker. But for them, they can chair in the absence of the speaker and deputy speaker. I don't know whether we should bring that in, or after all, this provision is equally here. So that's it. Resignation. If the speaker desires to resign, shall notify the clerk in writing, and under his intention to resign as speaker, and the clerk shall inform the house. Provisions in clause 1 of this order are also applicable to deputy speakers. Okay. Members of Parliament. So there shall be members of the youth Parliament. Members shall be determined through procedure laid down in these standing orders. Okay. Duties of members of Parliament. So, duties of members of Parliament. A youth member of Parliament, a youth MP. I won't decide. Member of Parliament. A youth member of Parliament shall attend parliamentary sittings, attend committee meetings, carry out directives from offices and committees, including the House, contribute on floor of Parliament when called, assist in the realization of the aims and objectives of the youth Parliament. I think it's very simple. Qualifications for youth MPs. Be a youth. Now, when we say be a youth, what are you trying to say? Yeah. So I think we need to be clear with the age bracket for our youth. Which age bracket are we adopting? I think it's 18. Is it 18? No. Is it 18 to 35? No. As much as possible, there are some people who might be in tertiary at the age of 15. And any tertiary student. No. Just, yeah. This is quite ambiguous. After all, the order, standing order says the speaker may give a ruling to any ambiguity in the standing orders. So I think this matter, maybe when we get to the House, we can have a different. But for me, I feel we can at least state from age, let's say 12 years to 40. I'm using 40 here because in Ghana, for instance, the president is not expected to be a youth. That's why it states that you need to be 40 years and above to qualify to be elected as president. It's to ensure that by then you'd have passed through your youthful indigence. So I think 12 to 40 is okay, because there may be people within their 35 who want to be youth MPs. YIP is surely going to be great, and at least since they don't qualify to be president, they can equally benefit from being a youth MP. Yes, but when they qualify to be president of Ghana, then we can claim, yes, they are now in the presidential bracket. That is to me. So I think that is what we propose. Apply and go through the process of being appointed as a youth MP. This process is conventional. The process that was done for the second parliament is a Google form being created. Then you apply. It is quite a tedious form to fill, because if someone is not able to fill the form, he's equally not cut out and ready for the job. So fill in the form, and then you'll be vetted. And after being vetted, you'll be presented to the House through the appointment committee report for ratification, and then they have been sworn in at the first sitting of the next parliament. So that's just the procedure, and this procedure is conventional. It might change and it might get improved. After being served an appointment letter has secured a slot to become an honorable member. This sentence is problematic. Being served an appointment letter secures a slot as an honorable member of the youth parliament for a parliamentary year. So this is to say that no, this cannot be a qualification because you need to qualify before you can even be served an appointment letter. So why are we adding the issue of appointment letter to qualifications? I think there's a problem. Honorable Majority Leader. I think there's a problem stating being served an appointment letter as a qualification for youth MPs. Okay. So when you go through the process successfully, you will be given an appointment letter.
Okay. So the appointment letter will confirm whether or not you are an MP. Because if it is done by election, that one it has been confirmed from your constituency. That is one. The appointment letter will confirm kind of like an election kind of. So it should be a qualification. So without an appointment letter, you cannot be sworn in kind of something like that. Because anybody can work from anywhere and come and say he's also part. What's the proof? Oh. So we must take it from it must be there. Maybe probably in the future where we grow to become where kind of an election can be held at the constituency level, kind of something like that, then we can amend it. But with this, let's maintain it that way.
Yes, I concur to the view of the majority leader because the appointment is in place and a replacement of elections. So if the appointment letter is not made clear, if you have not been served an appointment letter and you don't even take it, it means you have not fully qualified to be called an MP. So for you to be served an appointment letter, it means yes, you fully qualify now to be a youth MP. So first of all, you have to be in the directed age bracket. You go through the process, and at the end of the process, the board of directors of YIM, of which will be signed by the administrative director, will serve you an appointment letter, of which when you have been served the appointment letter, it secures you a slot, because if you don't come for the appointment letter, it can equally be withdrawn. On basis that you are not ready for the job. So I agree with you. Oaths by members of parliament. So as I said, our sittings will not be long. We are already on page 15. And since it's 50 pages, by page 25, I think we can close today's meeting. We are doing very well. We started at exactly 6 and it's 7 o'clock right now. And we are on page 15. So I think by page 25, if members present agree with me, we can close, or we gave ourselves 2 hours. When it is 8 o'clock, wherever we have reached, we close. So very good. About 147 orders, we are now on order 32. Oath by members of parliament. Every member shall, before taking his seat formally in parliament, take and subscribe before the speaker of parliament in the house and in the presence of members of parliament the oath of a member of youth parliament. I think that oath is yes, oath for youth members of parliament. Okay. So the oath for youth members. Is it? Oath for youth members of parliament. So oath for youth members of parliament as set out in Schedule B, Appendix B. A member may, before taking to the oath, refer to in paragraph 1 of this order, take part in the election of the youth speaker of parliament. So, honourable members, leave of absence of a youth MP. Every member shall attend the service of the House unless leave of absence has been given by Mr. Speaker. Leave of absence may be given by Mr. Speaker to any member who shows sufficient cause justifying his absence or who is away on official youth parliamentary duties. Absence without leave of a youth MP. Member shall not absent himself during a session for more than 3 consecutive sittings without permission in writing to the Speaker. Any member infringing on this order shall have his conduct referred to the Privileges Committee by Mr. Speaker. A member shall be excused from service of the House or on any committee so long as he has leave of absence. So, the paragraph 1, order 1, paragraph 1, it says 3 consecutive sittings. And I think the appointment letter matter also raises here because if you haven't served the letter and you have missed the first 3 sittings, it means already you have not even been appointed. So already permission cannot be given to you because you are not a substantive member of parliament. You are not a substantive member of parliament. So I'm still considering whether or not such members not been sworn into office should be referred or not. But I think so far as an appointment letter is being served, they should be given that recourse. So it's still okay. Their conduct shall be referred to the Privileges Committee. Resignation, any member who wishes to resign, just like that. Parliamentary service, the EU Parliamentary Service Board, the Speaker as chairman has a casting vote. Clerk as secretary, no vote. Majority leader, minority leader, marshal, a youth MP or member of YIM, and deputy speakers as co-opted members. Assist the Speaker steer the affairs of the youth parliament, prescribe terms and conditions, of service of members, youth service of offices, condition of service for offices, MPs and PSMs. Guide the clerk in effective and efficient administration of the parliamentary service. So there shall be a parliamentary service chaired by the clerk. Should it be chaired or headed? It should be headed. Headed by the clerk. The service shall basically assist the clerk to effectively and efficiently administrate the youth parliament and plan, prepare, and aid in the organization of sittings and activities of the youth parliament. I think we should even be clear the people who form the youth parliamentary service. I don't know whether there's somewhere here. No. So I think we should state it clear that the youth parliamentary service shall be composed of is the speaker part of the parliamentary service? Yes. So the speaker, the clerk, deputy clerks, marshal, and deputy marshals. The speaker chairs the parliamentary service, but the clerk is the head of the service. So I'm adding it. The reason why the speaker is here is because the speaker is not an MP. So it's either you're an MP or you are part of the parliamentary service. The speaker is not an MP. So qualifications. So if the speaker is part of the parliamentary service, be appointed by the speaker. I think this is not clear because it's the board of directors that nominates. And I think that has already been nominated by the board of directors of YIP and be served an appointment letter. After being served an appointment letter, he or she can have his or her appointment subject to a yearly renewal after expiration. So it's to say that parliamentary service persons under normal circumstances don't have their tenure same as the MPs. So as much as although a parliamentary year will end, if the person currently in office is ready and wishes to continue serving, it shall be given a renewal. But if the person does not want to continue or situations are leading to the fact that he cannot continue, then a new person can be appointed. So resignation. So they resign to the speaker. Grounds for revocation. A member who desires, clause 1, the membership status of the member. I don't get this. A member who desires a membership status of a member. A, we have mentioned member plenty here. Who desires of A. This English has to be rewatched. A member who desires a membership status of a member of youth parliament. Shall be revoked or withdrawn if the member, by his or her offense, conduct, circumstance, does not face to be associated with the house. So let's be clear. An MP or PSM may be revoked The membership status. So let's make it the membership status of an MP or PSM may be revoked or withdrawn if the person by his or her offence conduct does not fit to be associated with the House. Mr. Speaker shall table it to the Privileges Committee into the alleged offence and report to the House within after these findings and recommendations. Okay. Shall refer it to the Privileges Committee for into the alleged offence. Okay. Shall refer the Privileges Committee into the alleged offence, and the committee shall report to the House. So obviously their report will contain findings and recommendations, so no need to state that. The Speaker and Constitution with his or her deputies, as well as majority and minority, shall order the clerk to serve. I think Mr. Speaker and Constitution with the Parliamentary Service Board. The Parliamentary Service Board shall order the clerk to serve the member a letter of outright withdrawal from the House, or otherwise, depending on the magnitude of the offence, per the committee's report and recommendation. Okay. Below are some offences that shall attract withdrawal of a member from the House. When a member indulges in stealing or any social misconduct or vice. So, a member may, when a member misconducts his or herself in the House, when a member absents his or herself from proceedings for 3 consecutive, from sittings for 3 consecutive times without written permission from the Speaker. When a member indulges in any act that undermines the integrity of the Parliament or makes secret moves to sabotage the progress of the House, found culpable of committing contempt of Parliament. When a member is not physically or mentally fit on the basis of medical report. Any issue of a member showing danger of bringing the image of the House to disrepute. So fine. A member's membership. The membership should just be the membership. The membership of an MP, or PSM shall be denounced outright if there is adequate evidence to prove that he or she is making any covert or conspicuous moves to politicize the Parliament along partisan lines. I think there's a little bit of a problem. The House debates matters of national interest. I think all this is trying to say is that we must not be partisan, must not speak on partisan lines. the caucuses are not identified by political colors. So when you are speaking, you should not politicize the matter. Yes. So, how do you think? Should this clause be removed or be relooked at? The one talking about making covert or conspicuous moves to politicize the youth parliament along partisan lines. Okay. Well, it's fine. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Contempt of Parliament. General contempt of youth parliament. An action or omission which obstructs or impedes the youth parliament in the performance of its duties, or obstructs a member of parliament or officer in the discharge of duties, or affronts the dignity of youth parliament, tends to either directly or indirectly to produce such a result, shall be contempt of Parliament. Under 42, acts which constitute breach or privilege or contempt of Parliament. So, disorderly manner, victorious, and encouraged. I think these ones are fine. There are lots of things here. I'm sure they are fine. Complaint of contempt of Parliament. A member may, at the time appointed for complaints of Parliament, complaints of content of the Parliament. I think that's usually petitions. Provided he has previously notified Mr. Speaker. Okay, that's okay. It's to ensure that Mr. Speaker advises whatever will be laid on floor. In urgent circumstances, complaints with the prior permission of Speaker be made at times other than appointed for it. So, reference to questions and breaches of privilege or contempt to privileges committee. In all cases of proceedings where complaints are made of breach of privilege or contempt of the parliamentary speaker may direct that the matter be referred to privileges committee. Notwithstanding contained in this order, speaker may refer questions of privilege to privileges committee for examination and report to the House. Order paper and order book. The clerk shall prepare order paper and constitution of the speaker. Before commencement of this sitting, the clerk shall not less than 72 hours send copies to each member. Send to each member a copy of paper to be called the order paper stating the business of the day. The order paper shall accompanied by a provisional order paper for the next scheduled sitting if also available. I don't think we can do this as of now, so I'm taking this one out. We tried it before, but it was not workable. The clerk shall keep a book called the order book, which shall either and number in succession on all matters intended for discussion at this sitting, and shall also contain previous order papers. So the order book, all order papers should be bundled as a book. Yes, I think that is in mind. Votes and proceedings official report of parliamentary debates. Minutes of proceedings of each parliament called votes and proceedings shall be recorded for attention at this sitting, and all decisions shall be kept by the clerk. Votes and proceedings shall be printed and shall be in the journal of the House. Official report entitled Parliamentary Debates containing the debates of each sitting of the House shall be as nearly possible to verbatim, shall be prepared under the authority of the Speaker. The report shall be published in such forms when the Speaker may direct. Copy of which shall be sent to member as soon as practicable. Custody of records. The clerk shall have custody of all records and other documents belonging to the Parliament, shall be open to inspection by members of Parliament, under which arrangement be made. Accounts. The youth Parliament shall operate on the accounts of Youth Impact Movement for bank transactions. Mobile money accounts may be opened for smaller transactions of maybe house may engage. Deputy Clerk Finance shall be in charge of all financial records and prepare financial records in consultation with the Special Budget Committee. National report shall be submitted to the House at the end of every parliamentary session. Okay. So that means the last sitting of each session. So sittings, sessions, quorums, and adjournments. Sittings and sessions. A youth parliament shall convene at least 3 regular sittings in each session. No, I don't think that is relevant. I think our convention is a sitting each month. So I think it should be clearly stated here. So it shall convene at least a regular sitting in each month of a session. So at least the House shall have a regular sitting in each month of a session. There shall be 2 sessions within a parliamentary year. I think per convention, a session ends when the calendar year ends. Yes, a session ends when the calendar. So when that happens, per convention, a new House is convened in August. And when it's convened in August, September, October. So that's basically 5 sittings for the first session. But the second session will have as much as 8. Yes, we'll have at least 8 sittings, 8 regular sittings. That's fine. Yeah. So that's it. The session, there shall be 2 sessions within the parliamentary year. A session, I think so. If per the convention, a session ends at the end of a calendar year, we should be clear here. But over here, we are saying a session shall prevail for 6 months. So I think we should be clear that shall prevail to the end of the calendar year. Session shall prevail to the end of a calendar year. So this equally means if a new House is composed in March, it means their first session will continue to December. Is that what we are trying to say? Calendar year. Okay, so we just have to ensure that new parliaments are convened at least from the middle of a year, and in doing so, every session will end by December. So at least from July, the new House should be composed. By August, it must be composed. So from July to August, June, July, August. So that's just 2 months. So within July and August, the new House must be composed, and in doing so, this will equally work well. So that's it. Sitting days and appointed time shall be determined by Mr. Speaker in consultation with the Clerk, Business Committee, and Organizing Committee. The chair of the Organizing Committee is part of the Business Committee. So I think sitting days should be done by the Parliamentary Service Board, if you'd ask me. Yes, because the Parliamentary Service Board already, the chair of the Business Committee is there. So if there needs to be an extended discussion, he can send it to the Business Committee to discuss. And chair of the organizing is part of business, can equally send it to organizing. So it should just be done considering the Parliamentary Service Board. The Business Committee shall determine the business to be transacted in each sitting and communicate to the Clerk. Yes, so the chair is already part of the board. Adjournment of sittings. So we are now in order 50. That's page 19. Still page 19. We want to reach at least page 25. Well, let's see. Adjournment of sittings. Youth Parliament shall be adjourned by Mr. Speaker's order, preceded by a motion moved by member to that effect. A particular date of sine die. Motion moved. Let's add motion moved and seconded by members. Seconded by members to that effect. To a particular date or sine die. There shall be an adjournment to a further date if the business of a sitting is not exhausted, applicable when necessary. Okay. Sitting by request. The Speaker shall, upon request of 25% of members of Parliament, summon a sitting of Youth Parliament within 7 days after the receipt of the request, except that the sitting shall commence no later than 7 days after the issue of summons. Okay, so this is talking about emergency sittings. Emergency sittings may be summoned, so it is not a regular sitting. So that can make it that after the regular or before the regular sitting, an emergency sitting is being convened. Inauguration and dissolution. The Youth Parliament shall be inaugurated by the Speaker, the first sitting, first session. Youth Parliament shall stand dissolved after one parliamentary year, from the date of its except otherwise provided. Otherwise to clause through the last sitting of the last session shall see to the dissolution of the Parliament to mark the end of the tenure. Okay, so this one clearly clarifies matters over there. It means that by dissolution, it means that all honorable members cease to be members of the House until they are appointed and sworn in by the Speaker in a new Parliament. I think it's just it should end there. You cease to be a member of Parliament after dissolution. The Speaker and Clerk shall continue to function until the inauguration. No. I think it's only the clerks that are being approved and sworn in at the last sitting. So they continue to function until the inauguration. So let's say the clerk, deputy clerk, marshal, and deputy marshal shall continue to function until the inauguration of shall continue to function regardless. Let's just make it regardless. Regardless, in the sense that they are mostly being confirmed at the last sitting of the other house prior to dissolution. So they are the ones who hold office until other members take. We have to be careful. We are already saying that, okay, let's be very careful with what you're trying to say. It is conventional that the clerks and deputy clerks are all approved at the last sitting of the old house. And they continue to function to the inauguration of a new parliament. But they are being approved at the last sitting of the house as officers of the new parliament. They have been approved at the last sitting as officers of the new parliament. So clerk shall function until the inauguration. I think let's just leave it like this. This is okay. Interruption of business proceedings. I think this one is fine. Suspension of a sitting and recall from adjournment. The Speaker may at any time suspend a sitting of the House. So it does not need a motion for suspension. Speaker shall respond after constituting the House for fixing time when a sitting of the House could be adjourned sine die or to a particular day, or an hour apart of the same day. The Speaker may, if he thinks it, calls a sitting of the House Okay, suspension of the House. So, in any case of grave disorder arising, the Speaker, if it thinks fit, shall adjourn the House without question, put or suspend. So, honourable members, 7:30, and we believe that all other business can be continued on a different day. So, honourable members, for today's business, we are doing 1 hour 30 minutes, and we are sticking to time. We started at exactly 6 o'clock and it's 7:30. I want to bring today's sitting to a close. Can I have remarks from any other member of the House?
Oh, no remarks per se. Everything is clear, and then I'm sure by the time we'll be done, everybody will get. Okay, so everything is clear, and I'm sure by the time we'll be done with these standing orders, pending Parliament's approval, everything will be clear for everybody. And it is very important that we take note of what we have done so far, because these are the basis of how Parliament tends to operate, and we must be known of it as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. In this one accord, today's meeting hereby comes to a close, and I think at the committee levels they equally adjourn. So today's meeting is hereby adjourned to tomorrow, the 2nd of November, Wednesday, 2022, at 6 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.